Sure. All right. So, hey, everybody, how we doing? I guess some people are afraid to show their face because they're scary looking. I don't know. Um, but anyway, I wanted to start these weekly things so we could all kind of share experiences and help each other grow. We're just coming off an event. I know a few of our guys are there in Las Vegas, which to me was probably the best event I've been to so far. We really learned a lot. So I'm going to take you through a little presentation. I borrowed some of these slides from Jay Kinder. He sent me the slides last week. And, the cool thing about what's happening with the company right now is everybody's kind of helping everybody. It was a little, you, me, and us against them in multiple different levels and stuff. That's all kind of changed now. Anybody can reach out to pretty much anybody, and they're all glad to help. I've been probably doing 2 to 5 broker calls a week for people that are not me, not with my organization, for Brent, for Jay, for Gene. I mean, pretty much everybody's reached out for me on that. And so we can reach out to anybody for help. And I'm going to bring on some guest speakers over the next, a little bit of time as we're doing this, because I think the more we hear reinforcement from other people doing it, the better. And so I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint presentation and kind of go from there. A second to get it set up. So a couple things that I want to share with you is you have to have the right tools to do this, and that's one of the things that I'm learning. I know some of my friends are using Follow Up Boss. Some of them are using the KB Core system. I just bought CRM Grow, and I'll show that to you real quick. It's $29 a month. I haven't put any of my leads in there yet myself. But here's a kind of a cool thing that it shows you just an activity. It shows you when you send a video, what time you sent a video, what time it went out, what time I sent it, what time it went out, and I looked at it. And it'll show me what time I actually watched it and how much of it I watched, which is one of the things that I really thought was one of the biggest reasons I used this and bought this, because I thought it was a really cool tool. It has all your bells and whistles, calendars, follow up. I'm going to have Garrett, who's the guy who invented this. I'm going to have him come in and do a demo for you guys in the next week or two, because I want to see how it works personally. But it has all the recruiting material in here. All the videos are in here. You can add videos to this. And again, everything you send, it'll show you when they opened it and how much of the video they watched, which is what I've liked. Because the hardest part for me is when I've sent a video, not knowing if they've actually done it. Any questions on that real quick before I move on?
What was the name of it?
It's called crmgrow.com if you want to check it out. crmgrow.com.
Thanks.
It's really the only one out there right now that was built for recruiting EXP agents. It's pretty slick. Got calendar, syncs with everything. Like I synced it to my calendar, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to do. The other thing is making sure you have some sort of calendar program, because as you start to get busy as a leader, your calendar goes crazy. And if you have a calendar thing that you can just send them to pick the time that you're available, that makes your life a lot more easy. I use calendly.com. I think it costs like $150 a year. I don't remember. It was relatively inexpensive. And again, it was something that gives me the ability to schedule my times. So if anybody needs to use me on a third party, you just click on that link and you'll see what I have available. And it's always at the bottom of my emails. So I want to get into a little bit just understanding the rev share part of this. And the typical average right now, sale per agent is $812 if you have 40 wide. It's about $650 to $675 if you have 20 or more wide. So this is a good breakdown. This is based on 40 wide on what your revenue looks like on a yearly basis if you introduce agents. And again, this is opening all 7 levels. So obviously 50 agents is not that difficult to do once you get the ball rolling. Once you get up past 100, 250, obviously that becomes a little more challenging. But if you look at the numbers there, and we can represent to you on a monthly basis, it's pretty incredible. We're a little over 400 agents right now and averaging a little over 20 to 25,000 a month. Pretty sharp stuff. Again, just stop me if you have any questions. And this shows you, and this is again one of the slides I use at my Lunch and Learn, but again, I want you to see the power of this, and a lot of people haven't seen this, how much money you would have to have in the bank to generate the dollar amount on the left. So on the left, if you wanted to make $2,000 a month in revenue share, you would have to have $480,000 in 5% in the bank or your stock market, whatever you get. And most people aren't getting 5% right now. Please make sure you guys put your things on mute. I got a bunch of people that are making noise there. Thank you. But if you look at the big stuff, like right now, I would have to have about $6 million a month in the bank. $6 million in the bank to make what I'm making. I can tell you as a realtor or as a real estate broker for all these years, there's no way in heck I'm getting $6 million in the bank by selling real estate. Right? We could all probably agree to that. Unless you're one of our, high-end luxury people making, $500,000 per sale, which we're all doing here in Florida, $220,000 average. So anyways, I just want to give you guys a little idea on the numbers there. And this is a chart that is done on growth. Now, it's not a realistic chart because not everybody is going to recruit one agent a month. That's the middle chart. But if everybody recruited one agent a month, that's how much it compounds. So it's a ridiculous amount of numbers you can get. And you get to a certain point, like right now, I'm growing at about 6 to 7% per month, which means I can pretty much predict my revenue over the next 5 years if everything stays constant. I did some spreadsheets, which I'll share with you guys in another class or another meeting on how to track everything that you're doing. And then the numbers all the way to the right, which again, not realistic, but if everybody introduced 2 people a month, you'd have 531,000 people under you in 12 months. Can we do that? Yeah, maybe not. All right, cool numbers. I like numbers because numbers are what motivates me. It keeps me going. One of my favorite lines I heard while I was gone was, a recruit is not a recruit until they have recruited someone. Right? So think about that. So one of our jobs is to help everybody in our group to recruit at least one person. And if you help them recruit one person and they help someone recruit one person, and I'll give you an example. I'm about 425 people. If everybody in our group did just one person between now and the end of the year, I'd be at 850 people. And instead of making $25,000 a month, I'd be making $50,000 a month. And the cool thing about this model, and this is the big takeaway, and I'll go over a couple of those real quick. A couple of my big takeaways for the meeting was the finding your why is probably the most important part of this whole model for agents that want to introduce people to the company. And you guys are on this call because you reached out because you wanted to be able to really do this at a higher level. For me, it's my granddaughter. I struggle with my granddaughter's disease, and my whole family does. And whenever I'm struggling at all or like stressed out or doing too much work, I just take a picture out of Lola, my granddaughter, and I say, that's why I'm doing this. That's why at 58 years old, I'm working this hard still, because I know that if I keep working hard for the next couple of years, that I really won't have to work hard after that. But more importantly, that money that I've earned will go to my family to take care of them after I'm dead, which, at 58 years old, that could happen. Let's see. It's 11:45 right now. It could happen any minute. So my point is, you got to find your why to really succeed in anything. I know that's what I've always lived by. Before Lola was born, it was always about this house or that vacation or something monetary. And then when something like, something happens to your family that's very rare, or if you have a child that's got to go to school and you got to pay for college, things like that, you've got to find, everything changes. The money's nice, monetary things, material things are nice, but they don't gratify you as much as being able to help a charity or help send your kids to college, or in my case, take care of my granddaughter long after I'm gone. So anyway, so recruit is not a recruit. Oh, and the other thing before I go on is You just have to do it. I always say the number one mistake I've made in the 2 years I've been doing this now, and I literally just started, my recruiting started 2 years from last week, even though we joined in June of 2017. But the hardest part for you and myself is just doing it and scheduling it into your life, time blocking that this is a part of your business now. And if you make this part of your business, then you got to do it. And over the time, you'll realize that it's a numbers game, just like real estate sales are, just like any sales are. Basically, for every 10 people that I'm talking to, 2 are joining. I think that's a pretty good number. I'm hoping with my ability to create better follow-up systems with the new CRM I'm using, that'll increase that number. And I'll give you an example. My last list of 37 have joined, and I've had 12 directs join over the last 120 days, which is my goal, 2 or 3 a month. 2 or 3 a month changes your life. The goal is what you're trying to do is you're trying to find generals. So I look at all of you guys as potential generals, meaning you could easily do what I'm doing. Will everybody do that? No. Do I hope that you do that for you? Absolutely. For me, of course. But, right now I could literally stop doing everything I'm doing and retire. I did that in 2 years, but I've worked hard the past 2 years. So anybody could do that. And what I mean about working hard and making mistakes is the biggest mistake that I did also was not reaching out to the people that I knew that have now joined. And I'll give you an example of that. Last week or 2 weeks ago, they announced 6 or 7 teams in Canada that joined. I was good friends with 3 of them. So I've talked to 2 of them since then. Just curious why you didn't reach out to me. They said, you never called me. We didn't know. So don't assume that people know and don't assume that people are not going to do this. Talk to everybody because you're right. Half the people aren't going to be interested at all. But the other half will be. And 20% of that other half are going to join. So you're looking for generals. So when you're in your group that you're cultivating, the people that you're introducing to the company, you're going to find leaders within that group. And when you find those leaders, your main job is helping those leaders become leaders and then helping them teach their leaders how to become leaders by doing what I'm doing here today, things like this. So a big thing, we've looked at our retention is a big thing. As a broker, retention was the biggest thing for me. And honestly, with this, I didn't really grasp that at the beginning. But you have to anchor your agents. You have to retain your agents, or everything you're doing is for nothing. So what I've found is people that go to our events, our EXP events, generally stick. I don't know how many of you go to Las Vegas, but you all should be. It's an amazing, if you haven't been to one of our events, they're just amazing. It's a big hug fest. And by getting your agents to attend those events, it's going to make them more secure in the company, because you'll see how big we are and how much collaboration, which to me is one of our best assets. Share the vision with the company. We just talked about the why. What's their why? And know their why. And by the way, this is for your directs. So you really need to know your directs and work with your directs. So I've spent more time working on my directs the past 3 months than I have in a while. When they did the FQL change, I went from 34 down to 14. So I lost a lot of revenue. So I had to build my stuff back up. I'm back up to 27 right now. And 3 of those will come back because I've got them to qualify again. I'm spending time with my directs, helping them become good. Make sure you help them get their first recruit. And one of the things I'm learning, I learned this past week in Vegas, was if you can help a recruit introduce somebody to the company right away, then that's going to give them that lift. So one of the things that we should be doing with them, which is some of the stuff we're going to teach you today, talk about today for a little bit, is have them make their list with you. I sit down with them for an hour and say, or send an appointment and say, look, I want you to bring with me your list of people that you want to introduce to the company. And again, I never use the word recruit. I always use the word introduce. I never use rev share. I always use the word referral fees. So when I'm talking about, so make a list of people you want to introduce to the company, and then your goal is to try to get them their first rev share check in the first 90 days. So if they introduce somebody within the first week or 2, they're going to get a revenue share check if they're a producer soon. And then finally on this, well, two things, but you got to get them into the tools in Facebook Workplace and EXP World. What we're finding is people that are not embracing our technology in our culture are not lasting. And again, we do all this work to get people here. You have to make sure you're doing that. So I'm blessed to have Pat, who's on the phone with us. She works with all of our new people. And that's really been a blessing for me to have Pat being able to do that and help everybody on board who comes on with us. But she also takes them into Workplace. She takes them into EXP World. If you don't have that, do it yourself. Again, it's 1 or 2 people a month, right? It's not very difficult. And generally care. And I can't say that enough. If those of you that know me, you know I care. My biggest joy in my life, honestly, is seeing people succeed. And I think when I'm interviewing people that come to see me, I think they see that because I really care about them. I listen to them, and I listen to their goals, and I'm going to try to help them get through their goals. I can't make them work. Stacy and I were just talking about that, but I'm going to try like heck to get them to be wherever they want to be, both in the rev share model and both in their real estate career. And by the way, only 5% of the agents are doing anything with rev share. So it's not a big number. It's 5%. So what does that mean? That means there's a lot of people that love EXP because we're a great real estate company. That's the message for the majority of people. If I'm talking to a connector, it's a different conversation. So the key to this is committing 100% to the system. So first of all, you got to get yourself fired up and psyched up. Right? There's people making a lot of money right now. I know the video's out there. I tried to find it, but I couldn't see it. But there's a video out there of the launch of the event last week in Vegas. And what they did is they brought up everybody that had 25 directs or 200 people in their line or both. And I don't know how many were up there, but there's probably about 75 people. And it was really cool. I mean, there was some people, one guy he had, I want to say it was like 27 directs, but he only had 40 people directly under him. So he needs to learn how to develop those people that are his directs, right? But a lot of people, and they're just regular people. They're not, sometimes you look at some of these people and go, really? I mean, if they're doing it, I can do this. Anybody can do this. Make your list. The most important thing you got to do is make a list. If you don't have a target list to talk to people, then you're just running blind. Weekly lunch and learns. Whatever you're going to do on lunch and learns, if you're going to do them, you have to be consistent. I got frustrated when I first started doing them and I quit. And because I sit there, sometimes nobody showed up. And to me, that was an hour of my life that I could have done something else. But instead I used it to just become better at presenting and stuff. So if nobody shows up to your lunch and learn, that's okay. Use it. But also invite your EXP agents to come to those things because you want to have other people involved. It's a great way for you guys to get together. It's a great way to answer questions for your EXP agents. So generally right now, I'm averaging about 15 people to my lunch and learns. About 4 or 5 of those are non-EXP agents and about 50% are joining. Pretty good numbers, I think. Of course, I'd like to get that up higher and get more of my agents participating. And what I'm doing on a local level, which you should be doing too, is I'm looking at my agents on a local level and I'm doing a leadership meeting with my local level to open up this area here. And then finally, try to attend as many events as you can. If nothing else, it brings you back to center. We all get caught up. We all get frustrated. Everybody goes through the same thing. It's not like anybody's different than anybody else. We all have our ups and downs in this, especially the recruiting model. It's a lot of work. It is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. I will give you some numbers real quick on this. A guy I met in New Orleans, who Gene Frederick introduced me to, was really cool. And Gene's thing is just talk to 2 realtors a day. If you talk to 2 realtors a day, everything changes. So what he said, what he did, he called this guy over. He goes, "Hey, Mitch, I want you to meet this guy." And the guy got his license 1 year earlier. So it was right around his 1-year anniversary. So Gene says, "So how when did you get your license?" He said, 1 year ago. He goes, "How many homes did you sell?" He goes, 0. He goes, "What did I tell you to do when you joined?" He goes, "Make a list and talk to 2 people a day." He goes, what'd you do? He goes, I made a list. I talked to 2 realtors a day. He goes, how many people do you have under you now after 1 year? 257. He goes, how much is that a month? He goes, $10,000 to $15,000 a month. And then his final question was, how many homes are you going to sell this year? He said, none. Right? So here's a guy that was new to real estate, obviously didn't know a lot of people, but he reached out to 2 agents a day. And you think about the numbers, right? 2 agents a day is 10 agents a week, is 40 agents a month. If you talk to 40 realtors a month, I can't guarantee you because I don't know what you're going to say, but that should result in 2 to 4 realtors joining every single month. I'm doing less than that and getting 2, 3, or 4 people joining a month right now. So follow the system because it's really simple. So again, you're going to make a list of everybody that you know in your sphere of influence, agents that you think are ambitious, people that are sharp. You want to bring on sharp people. Do a minimum of 50 people, but also make a list of all your affiliates that you know, because you want to reach out to your affiliates and you want to ask them, so who do you think is the newest up and coming realtor, right? You can also make a list of friends that you know out of the area, right? I'll give you an example of that. I called a buddy of mine, Joe from Boston. He's in southern Massachusetts, near the Rhode Island line. I said, Joe, who's the rock star agent up there? And that you personally know. He said, it was girl Cheryl. I go, great. Do you mind if you give me Cheryl's info? So he gave me Cheryl's info, and I called up Cheryl, and I said, hey, Cheryl, I actually don't have a lot of time at the minute, but I just wanted to tell you a friend of mine, Joe, says you're a rock star up there, and I really should talk to you about what we're doing here. Do you mind if I send you a video and take a look, and I'll give you a call back tomorrow? And she said, sure. So anyways, then the hurricane hit, so I haven't talked to her yet. So I'm going to give her a call this afternoon and follow up. Your list is the gold mine. It's just like, this is no different than real estate, right? Especially if you've done internet leads like I have. You know only 5% of internet leads are going to join. Well, this is about 10% are going to join, people that you talk to. Keep your list growing, and again, use something for a CRM. If you don't have a wealth chart yet, you should print one out. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't done mine, and it's sitting here in front of me right now. I'm going to show you. It's going on my board today, on my wall today, and I'm going to fill it out. You can download that on, I think Brent Gove has a copy of it you can download. If you haven't watched Rob Flick's video on the wealth chart, you need to watch that video. It's really, really awesome. And then set your goals, update it daily. And then the other thing you want to do is pick a partner, and that I'm glad that that's me if you want it to be. But you want to text somebody to make sure that you're keeping yourself accountable. Because the reality is if you don't keep yourself accountable, you're not going to do it, right? We all know that, right? Because we all have excuses on why we don't accomplish things. Again, just as guilty. I'm not anything special. But this also, when you print this out and put it in front of you, it helps you to keep yourself accountable. It's kind of looking in the mirror every day. And if you really want to, you should put a picture of your why up right next to it. But I'm actually working on mine this afternoon because I have no appointments this afternoon. I'm very excited about that. And I'm going to get my wealth chart built out. All right, so if you notice what I did in a 3-second script to that girl, Cheryl, this is basically invitation to watch the video or come to your lunch and learn. I'm always in a hurry anyways. So be in a hurry, give a compliment. Joe said you're the biggest rock star agent. I should be talking to you up there. If it's somebody local that you're talking to, I've been watching you for a while, and I think what you're doing is amazing. I'd love to come. I'd love to watch the video. I'd love to come to my lunch and learn. I'd love to meet you. And if I send this to you today, would you watch it by 3 o'clock tomorrow? Get a commitment and then confirm it. Okay, great. So you say if you watch this by 3, so if I call you tomorrow, you're going to watch it. So you're confirming it and then get off the phone. Do not try to explain EXP on the phone to somebody who's never seen anything. Because what they're going to say is, well, what's the split? Well, we're going to cover that when we get together because there's multiple ways of generating revenue from EXP, right? Someone says, well, I'm at 100% now. Great. I could probably show you can make 125%, but we'll go over that when we get together. Things like that. You can't talk about it on the phone. I would tell you the number one mistake everybody's trying to do right now is trying to give an overview over the phone before watching something. or attending a lunch and learn. Honestly, if people, this is my philosophy now, if people don't take the time to do it, they're probably not really interested. And I'm looking for the people who are looking for us. That's a Rob Flick quote, not mine. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that really are looking for something that can change their life. So follow this 8-step invitation, and it works really well. On our next meeting, I'm going to have scripts for all you guys. So this isn't scripts, but I'll have them for you next time. But this gives you an idea of what to say. And I'll also send the slides out to all of you guys. Very important. When I'm talking to somebody, if you know me, I'm always enthusiastic. My presentations are no more than 30 minutes. I'm a storyteller. In fact, tell what it is, but stories sell everything. I bring everything back to my agent that's just paying for college with her revenue share. I've got an agent who just paid their mortgage. I know the agent just said all their household bills are paid now. Those are the stories that agents want to hear. How does it affect their life? If I start talking about I can retire today on my rev share, that's way out of their brain. Not going to affect them. Paint something that they can see, and that's all about listening authentically to what they're saying to you. And then follow up is vital. Here's the deal. If you talk to someone, and pretty good chance they've talked to somebody about EXP already, right? There's a good chance. But I could guarantee you that most of the time that person's never followed up with them. Probably didn't send them a video that they actually watched and dropped the ball on it. I can tell you that because I've done that 100 times so far. If I've done it 100 times and I'm pretty good at that, I guarantee you there's a billion other people. Well, it can't be more than 22,000, right? Other people who've done the exact same thing. So make sure you follow up. Again, use a CRM. I was using a spreadsheet up until I bought this today or yesterday. Very important. And an update UL chart. Any questions so far on this? This is not really difficult. And I'm going to send you these slides to follow. But it's really important that you follow it. And then the most important part of the process is getting yourself on the phone with either me or somebody else in your, I don't care if you're upline, downline, another EXP agent that's not even with us, somebody that you trust that can have a conversation about this. And I'm going to give you a couple of scripts in a second for it. Everybody can do this. I don't know how to even explain that to everybody. Everybody can do this. But you're going to position that person as an expert that knows much more about this than you, and is someone they should listen to. And I'm going to give you an example of that. If I'm calling somebody back, right, and my agents do this all the time now. So they call somebody and they say, did you get a chance to watch the video? Great. I'm going to be honest with you. I really can't answer any questions you have. And there's this guy, Mitch. Mitch is the guy that knows everything EXP. He's been a mentor. He's been a coach. He does everything. He's really, really sharp. He goes, you owe it to yourself to really listen to him for a few minutes. If I can get him on the phone, can we set up a time to meet with him? They almost say yes, almost all the time. So that third party is a third-party validation that comes from somebody besides you. It also says how easy this is to introduce people to the company. So that means all I can do is call people, send them a video, and then get on a call with Mitch, right? So you don't have to learn all the stuff that I know. Now, chances are you know all the answers at this point, but if you sit there and start spouting all the answers off, they're going to say to themselves, this is way too much information. If I'm going to introduce people to the company, I just want to sell houses. I don't want to do this stuff, right? So it's a psychology thing. So three-way calls are the most important thing. If there's anything I've learned over the last almost year now, traveling around the country, talking to every single person that's killing this, they all said the exact same thing. We have to do three-way calls. And I will do them for every single person. So use my calendar thing, get on my calendar. I generally keep them to about 30 minutes, but do an hour. Book an hour when you book it, because you never know. And this is the invitation. So I'm glad you're interested. Now I know this is for if you're newer, by the way. I'm relatively new to EXP, and because I respect your time and expect you to want the most accurate information for the best source, I'm working directly with one of the top guys in the company. He knows how the big money is being made here. You'll love him. He's fun, easy to work with, but most importantly, he generally wants to help you win. If I get him on the phone, would you be open to talking to him? Right? Simple. Right? Simple. The next one's the same thing. Same idea, just a little bit different, but same idea. I'm not going to, this one, if you can get me on the phone right away, generally speaking, I can't get on the phone right away. I have to do an appointment. However, if you text me, right, you can check. And if I'm available, I'll get on the phone. So this one is, hold on a second, let me see if we can get him on the phone. All right, so text me. If I can't get on the phone, I'll text you right back. If I'm on the phone, I'll text you right back. My days are pretty much booked every day from 8 to 6. But I do have time here and there because people cancel. During their three-way call, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I moved my brokerage over. I'm going to talk a little bit about the success. I'm going to, at that point, stop. I missed a slide here. At that point, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to say, so tell me about yourself. Because when they start telling me about themselves, now I'm going to be able to figure out what part of EXP is relatable to them. So the most important part of the slide I left off, so you follow me, is I want to know what they're going to say. So some people are going to say, well, I need to learn to sell more homes because I don't have any type of retirement. I need to be able to buy some houses so I have some retirement. Things like that. I hear so many different things. I'm trying to learn more from people that do really well. So I'm going to talk from collaboration. Then we're going to ask questions. And the next step, I'm going to have Bill or Stacy or Adam or Bob or whoever send you over the application to join. If they're not ready to join, then you have to. This is very important. Set up the next engagement. Great. I get that you want some time to think about this. I'll give you a call Thursday at 2:00. Does that work for you? Right? Or I invite them to an event, something like that. The key to this is, I'm going to also talk about you and how good you are and how much it can help you grow your business. So this is such an important part of the business. And I will tell you that right now I'm doing about a 75% join rate. People that I get on the phone with and talk to, or people that come to my office and talk to. So make sure that you use me for this because this is so important. And again, there's multiple people you can use. Any of our group will help that are attracting a lot of people. And even outside of our group, if you know somebody that you can call them, they'll help you too. Any questions on that? No? All right. So this is the end of my slides, I believe. I think I might have one more. So the whole idea of this model is leaders creating leaders. So my job is to help you become a leader. And then your job is to try to find the leaders, within your group. And that's kind of what everything is going on right now. It's really about, and this is, again, one of the biggest things I've learned is if I can identify my leaders in my group and I can help you accomplish your goals as a leader, then we all win, right? If I can help all of you guys get 300 or 400 agents in the next 24 months, right? We got 8 people on here. That's 3,200 agents in my group, right? And that's going to be your exact same job for your group. Ultimately, I can tell you that I would never have made what I'm making now with my 120 agent brokerage. Wouldn't have done it. So the opportunity is here. Anybody can do it, but you just got to do it. I think I have one more slide. Okay. So I'm going to give you the words that I use when I'm talking to people. And because words matter. And I said this a little bit earlier, but I think they're really important to understand. So I have 2 lines that I use when I'm talking to agents and talking about rev share. As I said earlier, I never use the word rev share. I use referral fees, and I never use the word recruit. I use introduce. So I tell them, if you introduce 2 agents per year to eXp Realty over the next 3 years, you can do that, right? And I shake my head. Everybody shakes their head when you say, like, you guys all just shook your head, right? Is when you say that, they will do that. And by the way, think about that. Anybody can introduce people. Now, let's go back to our numbers again for a second. Remember I said 10% of joining. If you do 20 transactions a year, right, and you talk to those 20 agents about joining eXp, 2 of those people are going to join. That's the minimum. 2 people are going to join, maybe 4. And if those 6 people you introduce all introduce just 1 person a year, you're going to earn up to $36,000 a year in referral fees. Now, the reality is for most agents, that is a life-changing event. I don't know about you guys, but $3,000 a month extra is life-changing for most people. And I'll give you an example of that I didn't even think about till recently. And I love this. We just did one of those 2x20 meetings that they're doing all over the country. We did one a couple weeks ago here. And one of the agents on my panel has one person he's recruited in the year he's been with EXP. That one person is a capper. And he goes, I'm ecstatic. He goes, this person pays for all my MLS fees, all my board dues, and all my EXP dues. Think about that. So just on that small scale, that one person pays for all of that. Another person that's on there, she has, I think, 11 people total under her, and she's getting somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 a month. Right? So that's a big number. Right? $1,000 pays her mortgage. One of the girls is paying, who was on our panel, was paying all her household income, bills with her rev share. But I love that one person thought that one capper pays for all your fees, then you have no fees. Another person said, I think they had three cappers under them, and that was paying for all their marketing budget for the entire year. So relate this to something that money does. I was in San Diego talking to somebody not too long ago, and I said, I know, $36,000 is not a lot of money to you because, you make $36,000 in one transaction. They said, well, actually, it pays for both my kids' private school. Again, so I've learned not to say that anymore. Regardless of how much money you make, an extra $3,000 a month. For instance, $3,000 a month extra to me pays my mortgage and both my car payments. Pretty cool. Now, if I'm talking to somebody that is a go-getter, that I feel is one of you guys, I'm going to say, look, if you introduce 3 people per year to eXp Realty over the next 2 years, in the third year you get really, really good at it, and you actually do 4, you can do that, right? And everybody says yes. I'm not having anybody say no. And then your only goal now is to teach those 10 people how to do the exact same thing. So if your 10 people bring on 10 people, that gives you 10 people on your first line, 100 people on your second line. That's up to $348,000 per year. Now, if I tell that to someone that's used to making $60,000, $70,000 a year, they won't buy it. It's too high of a number, and they won't join. It's too big. If I talk to someone like myself, who's used to making a lot of money, then an extra $348,000 is huge. But of course I say, in the reality, that's if they all cap. They're not all going to cap. We know that. But what if they all half capped on average? That's $175,000 a year residual income. Remember our chart earlier? How much would you have to make to have $175,000 a year? I think it was $1 million in the bank or $2 million in the bank, whatever it was to do that. That's a huge number. So the bigger numbers, I only talk to with influencers, and the average realtors, and by average I mean production-wise and financially-wise, I talk to them with the 2 agents every year. Does that all make sense? Yeah, pretty simple, right? That is all I have on what I wanted to show you today. The biggest thing, let me get this thing off. Oops. Oh, yeah, okay. The biggest thing I want you to get from this today is just do it. I don't even know. There's no real rocket science to this. When I'm telling people to finally do it and they're actually doing it, it's so much fun to watch their success because all they're doing is asking. If you go onto my YouTube channel, there's a whole video on attraction. You can watch an attraction video I did there. I got a bunch of stuff on there. It's just Mitch Ribak on YouTube. But the number one way you can do it besides making your list, and when you make your list, it's friends that you have in the business. People like Stacy there, it's friends you're in Oregon now. I don't know why people moved to Oregon. I think it's free marijuana, right? Well, no, it's illegal. Or you can or you got friends in Hawaii. You're from Hawaii. I've got friends in Boston. I've got friends in Rhode Island. I got friends all over the country. And I can't emphasize enough to reach out to the people that you know. So sit down when we hang up this phone or this call and make up your list. And if you start working on that, so I want you to make a list of all the people you're friends with in the business. And you're not calling them to sell them anything, although you are selling EXP. You're calling them to change their lives. That's the key. That's the message. And when I talk to people now, I'm going to be honest, this is my line now with everybody. I love this line. That I came up with is one of those things that I have. I'm really ADD and creative, so things come out of my mouth. I'm like, Shit, I got to remember that one. It's a good one. So the one thing I say to people, and I honestly believe this from the heart now because I've seen it change so many lives, is I say, look, the reality is the most I'm going to make off you is $2,800. That doesn't really affect my life. I can completely change your life, right? And I 100%, 1,000,000,000% believe that because it's what it's true. If they just introduce 2 people a year to the company, it will change their life. Now, if you guys put a mission of 1 person a month to your goal or 2 people a month to your goal, those are really easy numbers to hit if you just do it. So I've been doing mine. I'm going to tell you my hours. Basically, I do about 3 hours per week. That's it. I mean, I spend a lot of time helping my agents and coaching here. I have a lot of time that I'm with agents like you guys that are in my organization that I'm helping. But just you got to commit. So what you should do is from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, pick up the phone and call them. Now, honestly, I don't care if you even text them. I mean, calling obviously works better, but texting is great too. It works. The other thing to do is go through your Facebook group. If you want to build your list, you have tons of realtors on your Facebook group and put them on your list. Segment them as a Facebook list, which is what I did. It took me a few months because I have over 2,000 of them. But go through everybody on your list on Facebook, and everybody's a realtor. Put them in a friends list on Facebook so you know who you're targeting when you do your marketing and stuff like that. But send them a Facebook Messenger post. You know, hey, Bill, just checking in, see how's your business going? Haven't talked to you in a while. That's it. They're going to automatically come back and say, either quit the business, I hear that a lot, or business is great, how's your business? Great, I don't know if you know, I'm registered with EXP. It's one of the craziest things I've ever done, but it's been amazing. Really, tell me about it. What do you like about it? Right? Not rocket science. So I don't care if you're chicken to make phone calls. By the way, I prefer texting too. It's way easier. Almost all the stuff I'm talking about has been through texting. I haven't really picked up the phone because I'm a chicken shit too. But the reality is I don't care if you don't, as long as you take the activity. One of my favorite sayings that one of my ex-partners used to say is activity breeds activity. Once you start getting momentum, it will not stop. The only time the momentum stops is when you stop. So keep rocking. Any questions about anything? Life, babies, fatherhood, motherhood? No? Look at that. Stacy's got her first lunch and learn today. Very excited. Bobby Martin's flying in to do it for her. Really cool. You gotta let me know how you make out. If you're local in the States, I mean in Florida somewhere, and you're doing lunch and learns and you want me to come evaluate your lunch and learn, I'm glad to do that. If you're in a different state and you want me to come out and do some sort of event, I do events that I can do based on, generating leads, something to attract people to things. And I'll give you an example on big events that we've done. And I need to do another one because I've been slacking. I've just been busy. The first one we did was we had 100 people show up to the event. We had 50 stay for the lunch and learn. Over 90 days, about 20 of them joined. Pretty big numbers. So they're good events. So the events like that bring a lot of people in. And if you want to do something like that, let me know. We can talk to you a little bit about how to do that. And I don't mind flying out to do those things and helping you do those things. I just have to have enough people to justify spending $1,000 to come out, wherever you are. Anyway, any other questions I have? It says hands raised, but I can't see your hand raised. So just, maybe I can do it this way. Adam, do you have a question? Oh, Stacy, you had a question, right?
So Cheryl and myself have been going to a tour, which is like Caravan here in Bend, Oregon. And we've been inviting them. And also because I'm still new in Oregon because of my business was in Maui for 16 years. So I'm just getting things going here. My real estate business is really big right now. So I actually brought Cheryl on. And she's my mentee and she's my diamond in the rough, by the way. She is the 10% new agent right here. She's pretty awesome. And so I've been keeping it pretty simple when I go to the open houses or the tour to talk to agents. And we have like a little card that we've been just simply handing them, say, hey, come to our event. I'd love to tell you what the company's all about. If anything, we'll know more information about it love to have you. Free food. Come check it out. Just keeping it really brief. What would you say?
Just what you just said.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing it fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, and really simple. And then, but a lot of times, make sure you get their card. And if they don't come, you want to send them a follow-up me. So I know you didn't make it to the lunch and learn, but I wanted to send you this quick video to check out. I always say you owe it to yourself and your family to take a look at something that could completely change your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been doing a little follow-up. We sent them an Evite. That was a little aggressive, so we kind of pulled back from that.
I don't have a problem with that, by the way. I mean,
even if they didn't say anything, we were just like, we're just going to add them and see what happens.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
I don't. If I've talked to anybody once in the past 100 years, they're getting invited to my lunch and learns.
Yeah. I
invite everybody. I don't care. I mean, I actually have the list of all the agents locally. I invite them. I invite everybody. I don't care. So my because I am older than you guys are, and I think Stacy, I think I'm 3 times your age, right? I'm pushing 85 right now. Sorry, if you say really, that's all. But I was really shy about doing this at first because I didn't want to offend anybody. I didn't want anybody to get upset with me. But the reality is I get recruiting calls. You get recruiting calls all the time, right? People are trying to recruit you all the time. That's our business, right? Now that I'm not Tropical Realty anymore, I've gotten a couple of recruiting calls recently, which is really funny. I try to turn the table and try to recruit them, of course. But like on my Facebook thing, I don't care if they unfriend me. I have to get rid of some of them anyways. I have almost 5,000 friends that are going to be cut off. So I don't care. Invite everybody, right? And if they don't come or they unfriend you, who cares? They're not the right fit for us anyways. We're looking for people that want to be with us. And the reality, me being shy and me not reaching out to all my friends, right, it's cost me about 2,000 people. That's a real number. Right? And several of the people that I didn't reach out to, I talked about the Canadian ones, it's all over the country. I mean, I can't tell you how many friends of mine have joined that I never called. And Daniel Bears, Kyle Whistle, Mark Z, Carlos Germain. I mean, I can go on and on and on. They're all friends of mine. And they all joined, and they all said, well, you never called me. Whose fault is that? My fault. I suck. So my point is you can rock this. Anybody can rock this. This is not hard. You just have to do it. And don't worry about offending anybody, because go from the heart. Go from it. This is what was a big shift for me, is I'm going from the heart now. I don't care if you don't join. I just don't care. It doesn't affect my life one bit. But it will change your life. And I honestly 100% believe that. And if you go from the heart and you really believe that you're helping people change their lives, how can you go wrong? Right. Any other questions? Adam, did you have a question? No? She's got a very nice ceiling fan. I like that. Oh. You got to unmute yourself. You're muted, Adam. I can unmute you from here, I think. Oh, he disappeared. Oh, there he is. Okay, talk.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have any questions. I think the only one would be, do you want us on that 3-way call, or do you want to do that separately?
No, I definitely want you on the 3-way call. That's a great question, because I got to give you the way to do this. So when the call happens, you're going to talk about that person really. Hey, Bill's one of the top agents, up-and-coming agents in the area, and I'm really excited to have him talk to you. I've known him for a while. Whatever positive things you can say about that person, and then get me, and then I'm going to take over, and then don't say a word until I'm done. That's really important, because I've had several calls where the person didn't listen the way I'm listening and what I'm listening for, and then the person chimed in the middle of it, kind of took over the call. And I'm sitting here going, all right, why am I on this call? Let me do my job. I'm getting really, really good at it. I've done it several hundred times now, and I'm getting really good at it. So introduce the person, say something nice about them, say something nice about me if you want. I don't really care, because I'll say nice stuff about myself. And then don't say another word. Don't try to interject. If you want to text me a message that is something I'm missing, go for it. But the whole key is letting me do my job because I'm going to probe. For me to probe, and if you interrupt that probing, it changes everything. I had one not too long ago that the team was on, they were in, and then the person who I was doing the call with didn't pay attention to the phone call and came up with this whole messaging that was completely different than where our phone call went. And we lost the team. They didn't want to do that. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm here. I'm going to do these once a week. Please bring questions because next week I'm going to work on scripting a little bit and stuff to give you a little more scripts. But I really want to answer questions and objections, like Stacy and Cheryl. When you're going through your thing today, write down anything that you struggle with when you're doing that. All right, and we'll answer those next week. I might answer them for you. I'll answer them for you sooner, obviously, but I'm still going to bring those up during our meeting and answer them for everybody else. So, thanks everybody. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you.